Welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony. Did you hear that Sinclair, they announced that they're going to air a Charlie Kirk tribute in Jimmy Kimmel's late night slot? Woo, that should be something. Joining me now is Salvador Litvak. He's the author of Let My People Laugh, Greatest Jewish Jokes of All Time, and director of the upcoming, I believe I thought I saw a screening of it, action film Guns and Moses. He's also known as this guy. You know, I got to get into it with him because, Salvador, welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer. How are you?
Good to be with you, John. Always a pleasure.
You know, what was your first reaction when you heard that Sinclair would be airing a Charlie Kirk tribute in Jimmy Kimmel's time slot?
I thought that people speaking at a funeral was likely to be funnier than what Kimmel usually puts on.
You know, Charlie Kirk, he was known for pushing hard debates. I'm looking at some of the caricatures that have been created about him, but he pushed hard debates into the mainstream. How do you think his presence will be remembered in media culture?
I mean, first of all, we're certainly going to miss him. He's irreplaceable. The position that he occupied, the way he was able to engage with people was unique, one of a kind. But I also think that if you try to, shut up a guy like him, he becomes so much more powerful. It's almost like I remember Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars.
Yeah.
If you cut me down, I'll become something more powerful than you can imagine. And I think we're already seeing that.
Yeah.
And 1,000 truth tellers will rise in his place.
And they are right now. Do you see Sinclair's decision as this bold statement about free speech and conservative influence in entertainment, or is this just more of a business calculation in how they approach this?
I mean, I think that it's necessarily both things. I think it certainly was a business decision, but it shows that if it's good business, to have open dialogue, to honor somebody who would speak to the other side, and to shut down somebody who was, costing ABC millions and millions of dollars, in a slot that used to be about comedy and has become about clatter, right? He wasn't going for laughs. He was just going for applause at the approved talking points. If that's not working, then that says something good about America. That we're able to hear diverse opinions and we're able to interact with people. I saw a news report like just this morning that some kid at a high school in California wore a MAGA hat to school as a tribute to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
A friend of his, a girl, took the hat, threw it in the trash. They had an argument. They worked it out, but the school suspended both students.
Why him?
And both, exactly. Why him? And the students said, we're fine. She apologized. She shouldn't have done it. He accepted the apology. But the school felt the need to suspend both of them. It's almost like children have a better idea of how to move forward than these school teachers do.
And they do. And that was the threat that Charlie posed, because he was waking up this generation, and in ways that schools, the years that they've spent being programmed, Charlie Kirk was waking these kids up. I think that's going to be one of his lasting legacies. What say you, Salvador?
Absolutely. And the fact that they had like 3,000 Turning Point chapters, and now they had over 30,000 applications for new ones.
58,000.
50. Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. And these kids are ready to educate themselves, to hold multiple viewpoints, to talk with people with different viewpoints. And I think that these teachers and these leftists and these liberals, who get so agitated when you challenge them, well, what are the facts that you've developed your opinion based on? And they get so angry because there are no facts. It's all based on their feelings.
Wow.
Kids have gotten wise to that.
Erica Kirk, when she spoke and when she said this, I want to get your take on this. As somebody who is a man of faith, I want to get your take on what she had to say about the person who assassinated her husband.
He wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Salvador, I was getting a little choked up. I don't think people understand how powerful that statement is. I'm a person of faith. I don't know if I could muster that at that moment. What say you, Salvador Litvak?
I'm kind of shaken just listening to it. I know that a huge, emotion and value in the Christian faith, which is not my faith. I'm an Orthodox Jew, but this grace, right? That's all about grace.
Yeah.
That's just incredible. That's a woman who doesn't just talk principles; she's living them. I'm sure she's going to lead that organization to great heights.
Yes.
To forgive that man, and she's going to raise those children, without such a loving and incredible father who had started, keeping Shabbos from my tradition. Right?
Yeah.
This idea that you shut off your phones on Friday night and just be present to your family, to God, to your soul, reflect on what happened during the week and recharge your batteries. That's somebody who's willing to learn, from a tradition that's not his, that understands that, Jesus was Jewish,
right,
and that he kept Shabbos. Right? This is an incredible couple, and I'm in awe that she said that.
Now, you've written jokes, Salvador Litvak, about about the power of jokes to carry truth. A lot of people are upset with Jimmy Kimmel losing, being suspended. I really don't care because the cancellation and the cancel culture that's been going on the last couple of years has been insane. But how can humor cut through the polarization we're seeing around his tribute?
Humor has always been used to cut down the arrogance, right? And the people who are so sure of their opinions that they can't tolerate, they're so sure of their opinions, but they cannot tolerate questioning and saying, where did you get those opinions and what's that based on? If they can't tolerate humor, it's because those opinions are based on air, Yeah. There's an old story about two Jews sitting on a park bench during the 1930s in Germany. And one of them is reading a Yiddish paper, the other one is reading a German paper. And the first one says, how can you read that trash? It says terrible things. The second one says, what are you talking about? If I read the Yiddish paper, it says that Jews are being attacked, Jews are being assaulted, we're being deported, we're having our positions taken away. When I read the German paper, it says, we own the banks, we own the radio stations, we own the roads, we own everything, we're in control. The news is much better.
I'm sorry.
And obviously there's a sardonic and dark edge to such a joke as the Nazi menace was rising. But, it's also empowers a person if he can laugh even during his darkest times. There was even humor in the concentration camps, and it helped them survive.
Wow.
It helped them survive to keep going.
Now, Salvador, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, and a few others are out there suggesting that Israel's to blame, or that there was some Jewish involvement in this. I mean, they said the same thing about Jeffrey Epstein. As a Jewish filmmaker and storyteller, How do you respond when these anti-Semitic tropes get repackaged in modern conspiracy theories?
I'm not surprised. It's the oldest hate that there is. There's a story that the couple takes their young daughter to the Central Park Zoo, and they're looking at the lion. The little girl sticks her hand, through the bars, and all of a sudden the lion grabs her, through the bars, and is like shaking her around,
Yeah.
And the parents are screaming. And the man who's walking by, just actually jumps in the lion cage, wrestles with the lion, rescues the child, and restores it to the parents, who are, just beside themselves with gratitude. And another man comes running up and says, "I saw the whole thing. I'm a reporter for the New York Times. You are a hero. Where did you learn how to fight like that?"
Yeah.
"In the IDF." And the next day, the headline says, "Israeli soldier assaults lion in Central Park Zoo and steals his lunch."
Oh, we need more humor. I played a clip earlier of Jasmine Crockett talking about, the cancellation of comedy. Well, Dave Chappelle has been canceled because he uses comedy. There's other people that have been basically outright canceled because of their
Roseanne Barr, when you had a #1 show on ABC.
Exactly. And
Jimmy Kimmel says, "Hey, if you're gonna say vile things, don't be surprised if you're not going to be employed by ABC anymore." And truer words were never spoken.
This is the thing that I don't understand. But as it relates to Israel, Bibi Netanyahu had to respond.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. "One of my greatest joys as a Christian," he said, "is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization." He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, "The Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away." Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly, that won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies.
He's right, Salvador Litvak. What do you think about his response?
I think it's a great response. I think that the people who are saying this stuff, exactly, the bigger the lie, the more monstrous the lie, maybe the more traction it has with idiots. Because why in the world would Israel kill a great friend? Why would they have anything to do with that? I mean, according to the logic of Candace Owens, somebody who hates Israel and says so day after day would be the one in the crosshairs. That would be her, not Charlie Kirk.
Correct.
And obviously she's still standing and spewing her lies all day long. Israel doesn't do that. It doesn't suppress voices in the media, critical voices. I mean, there's huge protests in Israel. There's always been the most fiery rhetoric fired at the government day after day after day, and it's never suppressed because it's a democracy like America.
Yeah.
It's just amazing what's going on. But we really have, suppression of voices in America. You mentioned earlier my movie Guns N' Moses, which is going to be released next month on all platforms so people can see it at home.
Nice.
It's an action thriller about Jews under attack who fight back. Okay, a rabbi, whose community is attacked, and he has to learn how to use a gun and defend his community. Now, that's off-narrative. And even though we had big stars like Neil McDonough, Christopher Lloyd, Dermot Mulroney, Mark Feuerstein, a great theatrical footprint, and we succeeded in theaters this summer, and we have a 95 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
A movie like that should have 200 reviews. It only has 11.
Okay, where do we go to review it?
You could do it on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb. Thank you so much, my brother. I really appreciate that, because people love the movie and they need to say so online so that other people can hear about it. No, we didn't have a $50 million marketing budget.
Yeah.
And people like the New York Times, and we know that the critic watched the movie, and critics don't watch a movie and then not review it. So he must have written the review, and then someone higher up said, oh, yeah, we're not going to write a positive review about Jews getting armed and defending themselves.
Yeah.
It's off narrative, you know?
Yeah.
And we just see that all the time. But the people have spoken, and the people are speaking.
Can we? Where can we find it to watch it?
So, all right, I'm going to just share it with you and your audience.
Yes,
we haven't announced the date yet, but it's mid-October. It's going to be mid-October on all platforms. I mean, Amazon, Apple, Roku, Fandango at home, and people are going to have the opportunity to watch it and judge for themselves in just a few weeks. And I invite everyone to watch it and judge for themselves, because it's a edge of your seat, kick-ass thriller that people really enjoy. And the fact that it only has 11 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, there are a lot more reviews that aren't Rotten Tomatoes reviews in conservative press and Christian press, because people love this movie. You know, it's just a rocking movie. But like I said, if you're off narrative, just like that Israeli soldier saving a kid from a lion in the Central Park Zoo, they're either going to twist your words or more likely suppress it. It was like a critical embargo on our film. And I wasn't surprised. I was expecting it because we're off narrative, but that's why it's so important to take the message right to the people.
Well, just to those listening, you know what? I'm going to bring you, maybe in October, I'll bring you on my Black and White radio show. And or maybe, will that be a Monday that it's released?
I think it's a Tuesday.
Okay.
It'll be released on a Tuesday.
So I'll bring you on prior that week on my Black and White radio show, and we'll folks, you know what to do. We got to make sure all of those reviews go up, and we're gonna help you do that, Salvador Litvak.
Oh, John, I'm moved. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
my
you
brother.
so much.
We got to leave it there. Salvador Litvak, author of Let My People Laugh, greatest Jewish jokes of all time, and director of the upcoming action film Guns and Moses. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, John. Have a great day.
You too, my brother. Wes, we got to make sure, Paul, you got to do a review. I'm going to do a review. I may do a review from every last email account that I have, Paul. That's what I just might do, because they love to cancel stuff like this. These good wholesome movies. You say, John, but the Second Amendment is talking about Jews arming up. Yeah, that's great news. What's wrong with that? It's a pro 2A movie. I hope it does really becomes a real success. I have time to do this. No, I don't have time. I wish I did have the time. I wanted to play the Van Jones. He talked about a message that after Charlie Kirk died, he found waiting for him in his inbox. And remember, Van Jones and Charlie were going at it because of the stabbing of the Ukrainian girl on the train. I believe that was in New York, where she was stabbed, and Charlie and Van Jones were going at it. Maybe we will save it for the 8:30 hour, Paul, and I'll play it then. And I think it's going to be. I thought it was powerful for Van Jones to say what he said about her, and today I know a lot of people think that we're trying to set Charlie up above and higher than whatever faith you belong to. I'm not. I just know that what he meant and what it showed. Hundreds of million people watched live across this world. Hundreds of million. Dude, that's insane. Insane. Paul Stone, Media One. He's a husband, father, entrepreneur, author, and visionary in the world of decentralized finance. Guys, yeah, we're about to talk finance. Don't miss it. Paul Stone coming up next.